Instead of our daily rundown of the headlines today, we have a special coverage of the Hanoi summit. Perplexed is probably the best word that describes how the world felt when talks between the leaders of the U.S. and North Korea were cut short. Shortly after the abrupt cancellation of a planned working lunch and a signing ceremony on Thursday, the White House announced in a statement that no agreement was reached at this time. Nobody expected this coming. U.S. President Donald Trump, in a subsequent news conference, said that although he had a productive time with North Korean leader Kim Jong-Un, it wasn't a thing to be signing anything today.
Sometimes you have to walk, and this was just one of those times.
So what led to this sudden conclusion? The North wanted all U.S. sanctions lifted. The American side said no. They couldn't agree to the extent of sanctions relief the North Koreans asked for, especially in return for what Pyongyang was willing to offer on denuclearization.
Basically, they wanted the sanctions lifted in their entirety, and we couldn't do that. He wants to denuke, but he wants to just do areas that are less important than the areas that we want. We know that.
Although U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo hinted at further negotiations in the coming weeks, the two sides have no immediate plans to meet again. Some experts are concerned that Chairman Kim might take the new path he had signaled in his New Year's speech if his demands are not reached. Others are striking a more positive note. Former State Department spokesman John Kirby told CNN that talks had to have broken down at some point, but it's encouraging that Trump wasn't willing to make a deal for the sake of a deal, even though the abrupt end to the summit shows how big the gap was on both sides. There were some positive signs, though, earlier in the day. During an expanded session, the prospect of opening a U.S. liaison office in Pyongyang was brought up, which the two leaders welcomed. The North Korean leader insisted that he was open to denuclearization, even though his interpretation of denuclearization most likely would have been different from the rest of the world. But the chances for any of that have now disappeared, with talks falling apart. Even with the bar set low, Kim and Trump just couldn't meet that. A clear failure of a top-down, summit-driven approach. Perhaps Trump should have waited until significant progress was made at the working level.